All right, praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, everyone out there in Radio Land.
We're here with our good elder, Elder Ben Yah, with another message from our elder. What's going on, Elder Ben Yah?
Well, first of all, everybody out there, our people, the good people, also, Yah loves you, and so do we.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get on real quick because I want to talk about a gentleman at the age of 19 was set up in Missouri. We're going to go right there right now. I got this off of YouTube a couple days ago, and it bothered me so bad at first, but then things got better at the end. And he said something that was very, very powerful. But anyway, the jury selection was all white, as you know. He had a all white jury, and the prosecutor, and they were hell bent on sending this young man to prison for life for so-called killing of three people, young folks that were in their 20s, mass killing, and but the prosecutor, Mr. Strickland had a very good, alibi going, the story, telling him where he was at the time, and he could prove it. But the prosecutor told him, he says, well, they're still not going to buy it. He said, but I'll tell you this, if you will claim, if you tell us that you did it, he said, then we will go easy on you. He said, well, why should I tell you I did something when I didn't? He said, I'm not going to tell you that because I wasn't even there. So they threw the book at him, and their all-white jury, they found him guilty, and he had to serve 43 years in prison. He was 19 or 18 years old when he went in. I'm sorry, 18, and when he went in, and now, and they were talking to him after. I think now he just got out last week, and they were talking to him. They were asking him what was he going to do when he get out. And by the way, he walked in there, but coming out he was in a wheelchair. And he said, well, what can I do? He says, they've taken everything from me. He says, I thought I was going to get out here in June, and all, so he said, yeah, that's right. And we found out that they had messed up some papers. It shows you how they do us. They messed up some papers, so that it pushed it back.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him, well, they had asked him, well, when you get out, what do you plan on doing? He says, hey, I'm a mama's boy. And the first thing I'm going to do is get out here. I'm going to see my mama. I got to be with her for a while. That was the only time you could tell in his voice that he was very excited. Mm-hmm. But after those papers got messed up some kind of way, they said, well, we're going to put him back in, but it's going to take a little bit more time. But don't be discouraged. But I would have been discouraged.
Yeah.
I want to get out and see my mama.
That's right.
But anyway, that was in June. But in August, his mother died. And he just got out of there last week. And so when they asked him what was he going to do, that's when he said, what can I do? They've taken everything from me. I don't have anything. He said, but I tell you this, like I told one of my friends, my inmates in here, what I plan on doing when I get out here now is I'm going to get me a cardboard box, and I'm going to find me an overpass, and I'm just going to go up under there and just live. He says, and I know that when I get out here, even if I tell him, as I know that this wheelchair belongs to the system, you can have it, because it don't belong to me anyway. And I said, oh man, and it just, that really bothered me, Isha, so he, but they asked him 2 days ago, this was, I'm going too fast. That might have been maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago when that happened, but when he got out, when he was getting ready to get out, the reporter asked him, they said, so what are you going to do when you get out? She said, we know we asked you before, but what are you going to do? He said, you know what? I have never been on an island or on a beach. He said, but I want someone to take me out in the waters as far as they could go until we get out there where I can look around and don't see no trees or no land mass or nothing. All I want to see is water and the sky. He says, and then I just want to get in the water. They probably have to give him one of those things that's put around his waist so he won't go out down under. But He said, that's what I want to do. I want to get in the water. He says, and then I just want to I want to feel as free as I can. He says, and then I want to just concentrate on the powers and the glory of my God.
Mm.
I said, oh man, that's powerful.
Praise God.
So I thought I would throw that in first. I was so excited. I know I skipped over some words and stuff, but that was very powerful, folks. Because what he probably didn't even know he was saying it, but I'll say it for him. Being out there in the water is like sacred waters. And Yah also made the statement that I am the fountain of living waters. So he would have been in the right place. That's some place I wouldn't mind going. After what happened to me when I was overseas and everything, I would love to be able to do what he just said. And I hope that he gets a chance to carry that out. I understand that he spent Thanksgiving with his brother and his family. And I thought that was nice. He had something to be thankful for. But overall, I mean, to not be able to talk to her, see his mama. That's very, but see, that just goes to show you that the wicked and evil don't care about our people.
What you want to tell us today about Emmett Till?
Emmett Till. A lot of you know what happened to Emmett Till. You know, I was 13 years old when I first saw the photo. I was over at my cousin's house. And we was on the porch, playing around and stuff. And Miss Johnson next door, older woman, came running out there and said, oh my God, look what they did to this child. Like, she was crying, but it happened. That happened to him. The things that happened to him happened back in the early 50s. So I was just a baby pretty much. But we went over there and we looked. I'm telling you, and when I looked and I saw his face, I'm telling you folks that stayed on me I couldn't sleep well for 2 weeks, even as a young person. It just coming back. It just kept coming back in my mind. I wonder who would do that to somebody, to a kid, and then, but to go back to it now, before it happened, his mother allowed him to go down to Mississippi to spend, I think and his cousin went with him to stay with his uncle and his wife. Uncle was very old, and they went down to Mississippi to stay. And I guess Miss Till didn't know enough to just tell him, look, don't say nothing to those white folks and everything. Mind your own business. That should have been said, But anyway, they went down there and they went in. The story that I got at first, and now it's changed. They said that it was a grocery store, but I was told that it was a candy store that they went into, him and his cousin. And the white lady who owned the candy store, asked them what they wanted, and everything. And Emmett Till asked her how much is whatever it was he had and was looking at and pointing to, and she told him. And then they said he just whistled, meaning, man, that's a lot of money. He didn't say that, but he just whistled because of the amount that she said. He wasn't whistling at her, but she went and told her husband that, and you can only imagine what she called him. That he came in here and it was him and that a friend of his or whoever it was, and up here whistling at me, and so her husband, by that part of town being very small, they found out who it was and everything and all, and he went and got his brother-in-law. They went by there and in the evening and knocked on the door and told Emmett Till's uncle to bring him out. And they said his uncle, he just begged him not to take it. He's just a child. I don't know what. He said he whistled at my wife, and like the old man's wife, she even begged him not to do it. But he said, if you don't bring him out here, I'm going to burn this house down. So they went on. They had no choice. They had a choice, but what kind of choice would that have been?
Right.
But they grabbed him and they pulled him on out there. There's another story concerning that. They said that his wife was there in the truck, and then they had like 3 other black guys in the back of the truck. I don't know how true that is, but all I know is what was told at first. But they took him to a woodshed that they owned, where they had power drills and stuff, and they did everything imaginable to that child, and they they took this drill and drilled a hole in his head while he was still alive. And there was a guy who was down by that river, and he overheard noise, and but he didn't get up to go because he was too scared. And they said that they knocked his teeth out, and his mother said he had some beautiful teeth. They knocked his teeth out. They did everything. Imagine it looked like one eye was up on his forehead, like another eye was down on his cheek. Like that's the way it looked, and his mouth was all distorted. And once they got through doing, just massacring that child. They said they took a windmill, like a windmill, a minimum, but it was heavy enough. And they got some wires and they wrapped it around his throat, and the rest of it was wrapped around that windmill. And they went by, just right down the road from that lake, and they just threw the windmill in there, and they took the body right on there over with it. And and they said they saw the guy who was down there by the river, and they said something about O'Brien, the woman's husband. He went down there with a gun and told him, he says, "Did you see anything fall in the water?" And the guy told him no. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted him to say. And so he went on and got back in the truck and he took off. But then that guy probably had a guilty conscience. He went and told somebody, and the authorities came in. They got the body out, and when they got it out and everything, and like it was just so. They said it was just a horrible thing, and like the worst part about. The other part about it, I won't say the worst because that was the worst, what they did to him. But when his mother left Chicago and went down to Mississippi after she had been told, and they didn't want her to go down there, but she went. And she said, "No, I'm going down there to see what they did to my son." So she went down there, and like the funeral directors and them begged her not to. Please don't let it. We don't want you to see. Please don't look at it. It's not good. She says, "I want to see my son." I can only imagine she probably started cussing and everything. I mean, what mother wouldn't? And so when they took her and they showed her, she looked, and then the director said, I think she almost fell out. And then the director said, "Let us do what we can. We'll have the funeral service down here. You can go back to Chicago." She said, "No." She said, "I'm taking my son back to Chicago." And she said, "I want the world to see what they've done to my baby." And so they couldn't do, what could they do? Right. So she took the body back to Chicago. And telling you, I think it was a brilliant thing that she did to show our people just how hated we are in this damn country. And when they on the day of the funeral, I watched it overseas, and I was sitting there. This is another thing that kind of humbled me too, because, and I don't want you cutting none of this off, but it on the day of the funeral, it looked like it was thousands of people out there, ready, trying to come in. And then you on the other side, where people were coming out, they were flying out of there. And but the ones that was going in. When they went into the church, the casket was open. You could see the boy in there, laying, and it just even looked real. And but the people were slowly coming up there. And when they finally got close to it and everything, you saw people snapping their neck to turn away from it and everything, and then doing this. Men and women, man, and the women, some of them were passing out. They would do this, and then they would start running down the aisle. Running down the aisle, and it was one of the worst things you don't want to see, man. It was horrible. And but I know that's something that the people who was at that funeral, they'll never forget it as long as they're there.
All right.
What they did, and I know to this day they probably hate white folks with a purple passion. And and like I said, but we can't hate everybody because that's good and all. It's good in some of every race, though. Right. I got to say this.
Okay.
And like it's, so it was. And she just died. Miss Till just died a few years ago.
Okay.
Wasn't that long ago? Okay.
Yeah, I said what you were saying about, you know, Emmett Till and everything brings me to want to ask you about the Haitians.
The Haitians, yeah. You know, it was never a problem in this country, and I think we touched bases kind of on that last time when I made a statement saying that the white Cubans and Puerto Ricans and the white Mexicans, as long as they were coming into this country, you know, it was okay. There was never no problem until they found out that the Haitians was here, and they were coming. We got Haitians in that finally came in here, but for the most part, they're not telling you a lot of things, and like the ones who were at the border, and they said it was so hot out there, the heat would just make you pass out, but they were standing under there, and they were survivors, I guess, and they were out there hanging clothes up because they just knew they were going to get in. But they passed it where they went on and turned it around where they sent most of them back to Haiti. A lot of folks don't know that. Some of them, they put them, they said they put them in boxes. I don't know what you're talking about. If they made them get in boxes and then they had something to pick them up and put them in the truck up, I don't know where the airplane was, but they put them, they just loaded them up in the airplane and took them back to Haiti. And and then I heard that it wasn't a good thing for a lot of them that was coming back because they had been told don't come back here because they got gangs in Haiti that are actually killing people off. And with that rotten government over there, that needs to be ran out of there and everything. They're killing the people off over there. And I believe that's probably what's happening to the folks that are being sent back. It's just a damn shame that y'all do this to these folks, just like you had your cowboys with their horses and everything and the whips. And I know Maxine Waters, the congressman, talked about that. She said it's a damn shame. She said, I hate that. She says that, but she's on a committee that does a lot for the Haitians as much as they can. But now, and some of them are still there now, and it says that when they feed them, it's not enough food and stuff to go around. I'm saying, what? Not enough food? Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
And I started thinking, I know what we're doing with this, with Yah's fast. But I think maybe there's some way I know it would be really stretching it and everything if some way we could find out from Maxine Waters or somebody that know about what's going on with them. They're out there and everything, maybe, because, we got extra food. And maybe we can send some food up, put care boxes, as they call it, and everything. But I believe we need to do that.
Right.
And I also cry out to our people here in America, our black folks and the good ones. You heard what I just said. See what you can do to help the Haitians out. Nobody else wants to do it. Not even the Democrats.
That's right.
The Democrats and Republicans, by the way, are the same. Ain't no difference in them. One just really sneaky with it. The other one is just right out. They just come out and tell you they hate you. Just like Fox News. They want to blame everything on the Democrats, and we know that the Ku Klux Klans was started with the Democrats, but a lot of the Democrats left and went over to being the Republicans too. So you still, we still got you. You're still the very hateful people that you've always been. And all Fox News, all they do is pick fights and poke the finger at everybody and talking about, like they ain't doing nothing, like they've never did anything, and you tell the hatred just listening to them.
Right. So why are all these things happening to us then, Elder Ben-Yah?
Because we are the true Israelites. We are the true Israelites, the people of Yah, the people who have been made in his image and his likeness. That's right. As it say in Daniel chapter 7, the Ancient of Days did sit with a white robe and his hair like pure wool. Pure wool. There ain't nobody else with that kind of hair but us.
Right.
And it's just really pathetic that it just keeps going, and that takes me to the Edomites.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? Yah tells us not to hate them because those are our relatives. We can't hate. But Yah can hate them.
Right.
He can, and he does hate.
Right.
But and that just brings to mind that they went into a tumult with the into like a partnership. You always don't know what tumult means.
Mm-hmm.
Into a partnership with Spain, Greece, and Rome, and France, and America, and Britain. That they would wind up taking that position and everything. You know, just we'll take you over. We'll take you back where they are over in Africa, in the West, and then take you through into the East and show you where they are. And that's exactly what they did. And they killed a lot of our people there. They brought the rest of them through East Africa right into West Africa, where the slave ships were docked because they couldn't get slave ships over there in the east side there. So
Right.
they had to go through the west where Nigeria is, and Nigeria knows, they know who we are. And as a matter of fact, a lot of Nigerians are Israelites. You know, we got Israelites on the four corners of this planet, folks. We got Israelites in Cuba, Puerto Rico, down in the Bahamas, Costa Rica, South and Central America, like Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua. We had some brothers from Nicaragua that just visited us last month. They came to the sanctuary. And then Mexico, southern Mexico, what they call them Afro-Mexicans. And then we got a lot of folks didn't believe this until I told them, well, just type in, show me the black Chinese in China.
Yep.
They look like Chinese, but they are complexion, some dark, and they got woolly hair. And
That's right.
But they showed all women. I had a photo of them, and their hair is so long, it hits the ground and roll, and they got fishnets wrapped around it, so to keep it together. But they don't talk about them and all. But it's just amazing how a nation of people can be so hated. But Yah told us this was happening. And that for those of you, I want you to go ask I want to go back to the Edomites real quick, because I want you to go. Edomites are the descendants of Esau. If you go to Genesis chapters 25, 26, and 27, and read all about them. I told you how Esau was when he came, he was the first child to come out. They were twins, him and Jacob, but they didn't look nothing alike. Because Yah told Rebecca that you got two different nations in you, two manner of people, and they're nothing alike. And believe me, they're nothing alike. Esau came out red. In other words, that was the blood showing through his body. Just like when you look at a lot of white folks and everything, you can see the redness in their skin. If they go out in the heat and everything and all, get sunburns and they'll burn. And the burn be red as I don't know what, that's the blood. That's because they don't have how should I say it? If you look at a real crayon that's white, it's actually white. But they're not like that. I don't know what you would call it. But it's like, but you can see they have no pigmentation or nothing in it, in them and everything, and that's one reason why. But Esau came out like that, but they don't tell you what Jacob looked like, because you know why? He looked just like his mother and father. They were black.
That's right.
And a lot of you say, well, a lot of you gonna be really silly, some and some just don't know, but you'll say it. I did some research on that too, folks. But a lot of you say, well, how can two black people have a white child? Oh, easy. All you got to do is go on their computer again, on the internet. I had photos of that too. They showed a African, I don't know if they were from Africa or not, but they were dark-skinned people. And they had two boys. One was about 11, the other one was about 4 years old. And they just had wasn't a newborn, he was about a year old, and he was white. He had blonde hair, straight. Had a little hair on his hands, baby hair and stuff. But So there you go. And you know what? I will tell you this. Black men and black women are the only ones that can have a white child. Can't nobody else do it. Now, if a black woman marries a white man, yes, she might be able to, she can pull it out. And then they'll have a child. But a white woman and a white man cannot have a black baby. Or not even one that's brown.
That's right.
So there you have it.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
And one more thing I wanted to ask you about people still marching.
Oh, yeah. What a bunch of dummies. You know what? Black Lives Matter. If we have anybody that's listening in here, if you know of any of them and everything, play this broadcast for them, please. And let them know that, look, you've been marching since back in the days of Marcus Garvey. Back when he was trying to recruit and everything, get as many of our people together so we can get them on ships and everything, hit them back. Never happened. And at the end, they expelled Marcus Garvey from this country and sent him back where he come from, which was Jamaica. And there he died a recluse. You know, he was doing something that could have been great, but he didn't know. Just like Dr. Sebi, just like the people in Black Wall Street, Black Bottom in Detroit, they didn't know enough to turn back to the one and only creator there is. A God that made us in his image and likeness and told us what he would give us if we followed him, if we held on to him. And we should have held on to him for dear life. But they were so stupid and so hard-headed and everything. They kept going. They wanted to be like the other nations. Now you're like the other nations, and look what you're getting. Nothing but the same old thing. You're being killed. Mm-hmm. I just listened to the news this morning. There's been people. There was a man in Miami that got shot who reminded me to go back to that. They wound up getting shot this past, I think maybe yesterday. And he was a therapist in a place, but he had one of his patients out there. I don't know where they were going, but a cop stopped him. And I don't know what took place, but they got into an argument. And he was telling the guy, he said, I'm just here with my patient. I'm taking him for a walk. And the one thing led into another. You know that cop shot him. And when he hit him, he went down. And when the cop come up on him, he says, officer, he says, why did you shoot me? He said, I don't know. But anyway, getting back, what was that, Isha?
The march.
The march, yeah. So, and doing that, so what I'm trying to tell you in the long run, people who are out there doing this, stop your marching. And this will be my last time asking you this, because if you don't learn from this, you never will. We just told you what happened with all our so-called leaders and everything. Martin Luther King got killed over marching and trying to get people together. So did Malcolm X. You know, Malcolm X knew some things that got him killed, and they're just not telling you. Malcolm X knew who we were.
That's right.
But so my whole the whole point is stop the marching, because they've been doing this since 1830 something. And look where you're at now. Where has it gotten you? You don't have reparations, and you're not going to get it. They've been begging for reparations for, I'm sure, for over 100 years or longer. You're not going to get that. Not here. And if you only knew that if you turn back to the one and only creator, the mighty Yah, if you only knew, if you turn back to him, and I mean quick, because time is running out, then you will see what you've got coming when it's time to go back to the homeland. And I ain't talking about no any part. I'm talking about in the east, where they call it. I'm gonna let the Morey have this honor of telling you what the land is called.
Israel.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Israel, your land. We inherited from our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
The land belongs to you and everyone listening who's brown and black anyway.
Praise mighty God.
It's your land. And you got that. There's more land than you could ever want.
That's right.
But you got to wake up now and realize that the reason why this stuff keep happening and everything, and it's going to keep on until they try to destroy every last one of you off this planet. Because that's what they're trying to do. That's why you still got the wicked up there. They even got Edomites. They're saying they know who we are.
Mm.
They know who we are, but they want us to also notice them. Yeah, we notice you, but you got to tell folks who we are, and y'all ain't did it yet. And your part of the family of the Edomites that's got money, they're keeping everything still alive. They're saying now that the Edomites don't even exist. Yes, they do. The Edomites are over there in our land now, over in Israel, calling themselves Jewish and Jews. And being Jew or Jewish is nothing but a what? It goes right into Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
It is their Methodist, all
the denominations
and stuff. All the denominations, all just it's just that. And Yah he don't know anything about that. I'm pretty sure he knows, but he doesn't. We are not Christians. We're not in a denomination. We are in a bloodline. We're Israel. We are Israel. Israelites. That's a bloodline. Can't know anybody just join it. But over there in Israel now, the Edomites got everybody in there. You got Muslims over there. You got all kind of different. Some people from India. Mm-hmm. They Hindu God. You got China over there. You got everything. And then they've already casted lots. You got America. Britain, Spain, Britain, Germany, all of them they've casted lots. They all own a section right now. They think they own it anyway. And when y'all come back here, nobody owns it. People who owns that land, they'll be going back there.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we can get it more of them to wake up.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah. So stop your marching, please, and stop voting because it's not going to get you anywhere. Stop listening to Al Sharpton and them because they're not going to help you now. Mm-hmm. They can't help you. Okay, folks, we're getting ready to sign off. Again, I hope that we've enlightened you and given you it's nothing but the truth. Whenever Ben Yah opens his mouth, or Ishai, or anybody from the sanctuary that we belong to, we tell you the truth about all. Ain't gonna hold nothing back.
Hallelujah.
So we're going to sign off with a beautiful song called "Sing Unto Yah" by the Sounds of Sinai.
Hallelujah.
Till next week.
Shalom, shalom. Praise Yah. Okay.
Great strength and beauty.
Are in his holy place.
Give unto Yah